The 24th of September, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you very much for joining us on today's edition of Viewpoint on DBS Television. Of course, it is one of your favorite evening debate program. In tonight's edition, we are honored to have Achu Magchinyo. He is the manager of Universal Transit Logistics, and it is not the first time that we are having him. So it is always our pleasure hosting some people that are here to pass out some information or education, or better still sensitization to all those watching us, be it in Cameroon or out of Cameroon. And he'll be accompanied by Mange Venashus. Achu Magchinyo, it is our pleasure having you tonight.
Thank you very much.
Mange Venashus, you're welcome.
Thank you, Vanessa.
But Achu has not responded to my greetings, so that's why I was a bit reluctant.
I was also expecting that maybe you would continue. Good evening anyway, and good evening to our viewers who are watching us. It's always a happy moment. And Vanessa, permit me extend greetings to one of our viewers, our correspondent in Bamenda, Do Stephen. He has always been watching us, and we believe that the climate in Bamenda is favorable, and pray that things may change for the better.
Probably he's watching us at this particular moment. Let us take the first part of the show. Once more, you're welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our first question in tonight's edition: with the coming of a new company to produce Cameroon passport in less than 2 days, solve the long procedure to obtain the document. Achu, I'll begin with you. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Mange Venashus?
No, Vanessa.
It is not going to. And the second question: can this abolish the issue of express passport that cost Cameroonians huge amount?
Yeah, you can solve the issue.
Mange Venashus?
No, still, Vanessa.
No, you don't think it will. Coming up next, let us have the debate. In the first question: with the coming of a new company to produce Cameroon passport in less than 2 days, solve the long procedure to obtain the document. Actually, you think that the coming of this company, actually the partnership was signed or sealed on the 17th of September between the Delegate General for National Security and the Chief Executive Officer of the German Biometric Technologies Company. And it was said that those residing in Cameroon will take just a day to establish a passport, but those in the diaspora will have to take 48 hours. So we are asking, you think that is going to reduce the procedure, the long procedure to obtain this document?
Yes, basically I believe that if there's a system put in place, the right system is put in place, is going to reduce the time spent in creating a passport. Because first of all, if you put the right system in place, now we are in the IT world, and if all our information are being in a one database that you can always renew it, so you wouldn't have it's not necessary for you to take more than a day to create a passport. So basically all this while is just that we have been using old systems. And basically since this year started, Cameroon has been changing most of its system. If you see, even at the port system, they have changed from Sidonia to Kamsis, which makes things easier for you to take out your goods off the ports. And they're doing the same with the passport. They did it with the ID card, and now they're doing with the passport. So if we have a central system that has all our data, I don't see why it should take a longer time for us to do a passport. I think if they say they have the system in place that could produce a passport within 1 day, then it's possible.
It's possible. So, according to you, it means that the system that was first of all in place was not the best.
It was not the best.
Why did it take so long? You stay for long before acquiring a passport, or maybe you have to go for the express passport?
Yes, basically because the old system that has been in place all this while since we were growing up is just complicated for nothing. I don't know if it's the government trying to make it complicated, or it's just that we were born in a complicated country. But definitely I will tell you that it's very easy to make a passport within 1 day if you have the right system in place, even within hours.
Okay.
A passport is just a printout of your informations. So basically, if you have the data and the materials in place, you can just print out the passport. Easy peasy. It's depending on the system that we are using. But most people, they try to make the system complicate in order to, you know how Cameroon is. So I don't want to go into the details. So,
but so how well do you appreciate this new system coming into place? Do you feel that it's going to fulfill the requirements, the terms of agreement where you'll be able to acquire a passport just for a day? Do you think that it will actually come into force?
Yes, it's going to come into force, because basically, even though Cameroon doesn't want to change, the world is changing around, evolving around them. So we are forced to change. We are bound to change someday. This is an Android world. Things now are being done quicker and faster, because now people have realized that time is money, and to save time, you're saving money. You understand? So even Cameroon does not want to evolve. The world around it is evolving, so definitely Cameroon is definitely going to evolve. Probably,
because if they do not, they'll be left behind. Thank you very much for your contribution on that. Mangavina Shoes, you rather think that it will not be able to solve the procedure to obtain the document?
Yes, Vanessa, I don't know why I think this way, because I'm too pessimistic about the whole issue. We are talking about the old system of passports that we had, and the new system, and one of the characteristics of this new system will be, they call it the biometric system, where our our identity, would be included into the passport system, and they are promising that within 24 hours,
24 hours for those residing
out of the country.
No, in the country.
In the country.
Yeah, those out of the country is 2 days.
2 days. Wow, that would be very much appreciable. But then, when you look at it, you tend to ask yourself, this one seems to have added technology in it than what we had. Vanessa, it is not as if to say that the first, the old versions that we were using before this announcement came, they were not constructing a house. Because when you did this, it takes more than 3 months for you to have the passport. It is not as if you have to take 1 day to write each letter, 1 day to write each character in the passport. No, it is a well-constructed system that has been made to make sure that the procedure looks cumbersome to justify the cost. In my dialect, in my village, they tell us that if you are not afraid of your own masquerade, the bystanders will not be afraid of it. So that's why when your masquerade comes out with you, you are running, so that those other people should run away. It is a well-constructed system, and they know that if they facilitate issues, Cameroonians will not pay the money, and it will not demand such high cost. The old passport that we had could be issued even in 1 day, because it did not contain biometric, characteristics. It was a simple paper, like Ashu is saying. You simply print and bound it, which means there are machines that can print more. Just go to simple documentation. They can print 10 in less than 1 day. I mean, with a simple printer and a photocopier. This one we have, the forms are already printed, just to take and fill in the information and seal. It takes 3 months. Now this one we have your biometric information that will be incorporated into this passport and will be produced in 24 hours or 2 days for those who are out of the country. The simple fact is, it will not change the fact that people will still have to, queue up and to have it. Another problem, we talk of passport, we think of ID cards. It is a problem in Cameroon now to have an identity card. Mine expires next year, and I'm afraid, because I am soon joining that group. Because once you establish it, it will never come. It will never come. They extend it until there is no space behind where they can stamp again. The problem is not because they cannot produce simple ID. Okay, what about that one? The problem is not the production. The problem is not the capacity. The problem, it is the simple will to do that. Because they want to create as many blocks or blockages as possible and claim for money. It is not as if they would have to tell you that we cannot do this, we cannot do this. It is possible to issue it even on 1 day. Because how many people demand for a passport on a daily basis in Cameroon? How many people demand for it? Even if they say that that each day 30 people demand, are you telling me that they cannot produce 30 passports a day in Cameroon? Before it takes 3 months. And even after some 3 months, it doesn't even come out. But when you pay what they call express, It comes out in less than 1 day, 2 days. Why not? Sorry, I may be going to a second question. Why not put away all these things and serve Cameroonians? Because the purpose is we want to serve Cameroonians. If we want to serve Cameroonians, like Mr. Achu was saying, the world is evolving. The world is evolving where you don't need to have to go and stand in a queue, keep going up to the police, to immigration for 3, 4, 5 days, 1 month, asking for the same document, which could be established in less than 24 hours, actually, as they are saying. They were waiting for a foreign company to come and tell us that we can do it. In fact, to me, it was a slap on the face of Cameroonians to say that we did not know that we could do something like this. And you would actually see that they are still going to create other complications, yes, to make it look heavier. So that because this thing,
because to obtain it within 1 day,
and then they ask you to pay such amount, it will not, it will not sound good logically.
All right, but we hope that that will be the case. We are
praying that it should not be. Vanessa, when he spoke about the issue of identity card, when we first had the identity card, that was a carton. You did it, and in the commissariat within 2-3 days, they stamp the thing and give you. Later on, they change to another to the one that we have now, and they said it will be faster. That one went to 3 months. Now the computerized one, where you have your information also, that one is going and is not even coming. So what justification do you give me now that the computerized passport will also go and come?
My problem in the whole scenario is that why are we outsourcing such department? We are not supposed to outsource things like that, because normally it's our private information. Now if you outsource it to a wrong country and tomorrow we have a political differences with that country, they have all our information.
That is the point.
Okay.
And now the war nowadays, war are being fought cyberly. It's a cyber warfare that we are living right now. And now if they want to engage in a cyber warfare against Cameroonian, when they have all our detailed information, we are gone. And secondly, they're talking about the biometric system. It's a good system. It's a centralized system. Normally with the biometric system, I'm not supposed to go and do an ID card. Then you see me stressing up to go and do a passport
with the same characteristics.
Because the biometric system is my fingerprint. It gives you all my information. Now if I give my fingerprint, all my information are already with the ID card department. They can just share the information with the passport department because it's the same information they need. So I don't see why the complication taking people from up to down, like the new process of doing the new ID card, is a whole process. I don't even see the reason for it. They'll ask you your birth certificate. They'll say you're going to do nationality certificate of non-conviction. All those things is for, what is it for? You have been doing my ID card. I want to come and renew my ID card. I come with my birth certificate. That is the only document that presents me as a full-fledged Cameroonian. And how is that birth certificate not legal? Why can't you even take the information from my former ID card and replace it with the new one?
That is why I meant by saying that it will not even succeed in solving the issue of long procedures in obtaining the document, because we will still look for ways. That is what Mr. Ashu is saying. You cannot be renewing an identity card that was legally established with that same birth certificate, and once you come now to renew it, it becomes a problem. When you come to renew it, no, your birth certificate was wrong. So we are indirectly saying that the company or those who produced the first ID card, they operated on wrong information, on illegal documents, which means all the information that we had earlier on are fake. So this is what I'm saying, that we are still going to create another procedure. You may not be surprised now that once you present your documents, they will tell you that your ID card is wrong, or that it's illegal, or that your birth certificate, you are not the owner, or all these kind of things to create problems.
Because immediately there's a slight difference in your names, not that everything is cancelled.
Vanessa, remember,
even just a word.
Vanessa, when they moved from the cartoon type of identity card to the computerized kind, like they said, it means the information that went into that system was supposed to be the same. All you need to do is present the old identity card, and then they renew it and give it to you once there are justifications that you are the one. Now once you present it, they still ask you to present your birth certificate. Once you present your birth certificate, no, they say this birth certificate is wrong, or they send you, they say there is a complication with the old information that was in the system. You tend to ask the question, who made the first ID card that you had? It is the same thing that we are likely going to face with this new issue. Because when they talk of producing it in less than 2 days, in less than 24 hours in Cameroon here, it means so many people will go, when I say go out of work or go out of their normal illegal income that they were enjoying. Because imagine somebody who has been going into the into the commissariat for 3 months asking for his passport. Now he will just have to go and deposit the information today, and tomorrow we come and collect the passport. I think that we would be moving into the, in an era where things will be done at the speed of light in this country. Because when we come to that, it will be laudable. It will be a laudable initiative. We will come to that. But I pray that we should, the dream we are selling to Cameroonians, it should be a practical, a realistic dream. Let us not raise the aspirations of Cameroonians, and then when it comes to practicality, that was the same thing that we had with ID cards. Because ID cards were supposed to be computerized now, but then it is the same worse. To me, I would rather think that we should go back to the old carton system that we had. It was easier to obtain an ID card at that moment than now.
Like Archie said, we are moving into the digital world. It's like a global village. So, for us to meet the standards, we need to work on it.
What makes it global is not only in Yaoundé. It can be global from every police station, which means you go into every police station and you enter your information into the central data system, and it goes to any airport, any commissariat, any...
Manga nations, hopefully we'll get to that stage.
Pray so.
That's it. Let us take our second question. Can this abolish the issue of express passport that cost Cameroonians huge amounts? Mark Jr., you think that it is going to?
Yeah, you can never abolish that issue.
All right, so now you're changing your response.
I said yes, you can abolish the issue
of express passport.
But definitely, if you look into the time frame, there are some people that you say one day, there are some people that want to do their passport within the hour. Human beings always try to beat on time, always try to gain on time, no matter how you want to reduce your time at. But definitely, it has really solved a problem of us rushing to do an express passport within the day. That has really solved that problem, if they put it in place. My anger around it is just one thing. The anger around it is that are Cameroonians so stupid? Are we so that stupid that we cannot establish that kind of system? Are Cameroonians not literate? How can we outsource that kind of a department to a foreign country? That's the question that we need to really ask ourselves. Other countries, if they know they cannot, they don't have specialists to do that, put that kind of system in place. They send youths out there to go and train and come and put the system in place. You cannot hand over that kind of system to a foreign entity. Okay, now if you even look about the business perspective, is it costing any good? No, money is leaving the country because they will definitely pay the contractors. So that's money leaving the country. And what are we gaining in return? Nothing, because no one is going to be educated under that system.
That's why the financial deal of it was not revealed.
So
because
basically,
no information was actually
even if there's no financial deal, I can. This is a country, and we also have a certain
level of intimacy,
privacy. We can't just be exposing our informations out there like that to strangers, expecting that strangers will handle our personal informations. That could backfire for Cameroonians. So I don't know what the government is doing. I don't know what they're thinking. Maybe they just think they don't trust Cameroonians enough to hand over such departments to Cameroonians to handle, because I know that a lot of intelligent Cameroonians out there that could really build up such system.
So should we be hoping that even the date of establishment and the expiring date, should we be hoping that it will also be kind of adjusted?
Yes, that's another very big problem. If it's adjusted, then fine. If it's not adjusted, and secondly, why are we don't have a dual nationality? If they can change the status of our passport to a dual nationality, those are the things that we need to make our passport good. And the limited time, how could you give us 4 years for a passport to expire? At the end of the day, if you want to apply to travel for a business motive, how long will you take to do your application, to run your application within the embassy? You travel, when you get there, how long will you take to stay there? So by the time you finish what you're doing there, maybe your passport must have expired. That's making more money, squeezing money out of the Cameroonians. At least they have to add up the years. So there are certain things that you can apply and you can be granted. You cannot be granted a more than 4 years visa on a Cameroon passport. because you'll be older than your passport.
Because you'll be older than your passport.
And there are countries that could grant you more than 4 years visa. So the application process is already eating 1 year. You're left with 3 years. And now if they want to give you 4 years, you don't have enough. That's honestly is really, we are creating, our government is putting us in a situation that is straining us a lot. In doing a lot of things, we are being strained that are easy things. A biometric system is easy. Normally, you are not supposed to move on the street with an ID card. If we had a centralized system, when a policeman meets you on the road, they have to have a centralized computer on in their cars. When they ask your name, what's your name, Mark Jr., they type in the system, Mark Jr., your name is going to come out, your information, your big photo, everything. Now making us to be moving around with pieces of paper that if it gets missing, we are getting into trouble for nothing. How could you, have you seen a Cameroonian without an ID card, how he's been treated?
In Cameroon, an ID card is like a passport. So you need it everywhere you go.
But it's not supposed to be. This is a modern world. We need to grow with the world. They can even create an app that could identify every Cameroonian. But this is a modern world that we need to grow up with the world. We can't be working with pieces of papers. Because at the end of the day, we will still misplace it. No one is bound to be very that careful that you would never misplace your ID card.
That's a practical example, because when you move in the streets, you see people's ID maybe hung on the street, or you just see anybody just holding it, or you see even on the social media, people advertising an ID that is missing. Please,
and that is why
forward so that
you're getting all these complications in Cameroon between the Anglo-Saxon and the Francophone zones. Because normally, if we're under the ECOWAS system, we wouldn't have been going through all these problems. But we are under SMAC. Are we supposed to be under SMAC? Are we a Central African country? Go and check your maps. We are not a Central African country. We are a West African country. Sure. And by the way, we are a bilingual country. Even if we are into SMAC and ECOWAS, yes, we are supposed to benefit from the two zones as a Cameroonian, because we are a bilingual country. If we're being colonized by English and French, we are supposed to benefit from both countries, colonial masters. It's not that we are concentrating to benefit only from one part of the colonial master and forgetting about the other part of the colonial master. It's not right.
All right. Thank you very much. You stay with us while we get Venashu's point of view. You think that this is not going to abolish the issue of express passport?
Yes, Vanessa, when I was saying that it doesn't abolish the idea of express passport, is when we talk about express passport, which means within the shortest time possible that you give it, they will produce a passport. Which means we can also say there is nothing again like express passport. If before then we had 3 months, which means within 1 week, in less than 1 week, 5 days, 3 days, you could have your passport. That's what we call the express passport if you pay the money. And it justifies the English adage that says, he who pays the piper calls the tune. Which means if you use money, it will come down from 3 months to 3 days. Now, it will be within 24 hours. If you use money, it will be within a matter of hours, maybe 2 hours.
That's what Mark Jr. was explaining in his own point of view.
So it won't abolish it, because they know that once they use the word express, the cost is higher.
And as
the cost is higher, does that go into the coffers of the state? I've never seen a passport that instead of the normal 10,000 francs stamp that is supposed to be there, they write there 50,000 francs and then they write beside express. It is the normal stamp that is stamped on it. What about the other thousands, the other tens of thousands that were added to the normal amount that was there? Where does it go to? Why do they sell that stamp that is sold at 10,000 francs, it is sold at 50,000 francs? Where does the rest go to? So when we talk about express passport, from 24 hours, we will still bring it down to 2 hours. If you want it now, stand here, we will produce it, in as much as you will pay heavy. So it can't wipe out the issue of express passport. Mr. Achu was saying that human beings always want to cut down things. If they say within 24 hours, there's somebody who wants to issue his passport this morning and he's traveling in the evening. With the idea of express passport, it is possible once there is money. Because before then, it was only 3 months. It could come. It could Not that by 3 months it will come. Yes, because after 3 months you go there, they say no, it is not yet ready.
Wait for another 3 months.
Which means as you are waiting, when it will come, you go there, you will have it. But if you wanted it within 3 days, within 2 days, once you have paid, have you ever seen anybody who paid for express passport and it doesn't come? Have you ever seen anybody who pays money asking for express passport and they don't give him the day they wanted it? Which means they can also say, Cameroonians, once you apply for your passport, in 2 days you will have it and you will have it. If 100 Cameroonians pay for express passport, they will all have it on that same day. But when you want to take the normal procedure, it is 3 months plus, if you are lucky.
The difference there will be that, if 1,000 Cameroonians pay for a passport, you get it that same day. But now, here's where the money is going to apply. I want to be in front. I came late, but I want to be in front. I want mine to come out first before the rest of the people.
And that's where express passport comes in. So, practically speaking, it may not be possible that this new system, it may not that the machines, not that the company in charge cannot produce within 2 hours, 3 hours. They can. But the problem is, we need to let it look heavier so that the money we are asking for should be justifiable. Because if we produce it in 2 hours and give you, what about the other person who will need to come tomorrow? I would also want to go there and they produce mine and I take it that same day and come back. But then we need to let the money speak. You know, it's as if once it looks costly, once it looks expensive, that is when it has more value than the normal one that will be delivered within 24. We pray that people will be, sensitive enough to talk about this issue of express passport, if at all. But I don't even know whether this express passport is official. I don't know whether the Director General of Public Security knows anything about this express passport.
In migration, there's always an express option.
Yes.
Even when you want to apply for a visa, you have an express option which you pay higher. You understand? So definitely, even in making a passport, there must be an express option.
And when you make the express option, they should be able to state the amount of money you have used in your passport. That's what that's where my worry is.
No, most of those things before it was happening before. If the new system is being put in place, I don't think that's what I'm saying is going to solve that problem of express passport. Unless you're just in a hurry that you want to be in front of the queue, that makes it different. But if normally it's 24 hours, we have a centralized system, I don't see why it's not possible.
Okay.
Because with a centralized system, only with and they say it's a biometric system. Only with my fingerprints, I don't need to submit any documents. With my thumbprints, you already have all my documents in the system. It's just for you to print out my passport and give me, I go.
All right. Thank you very much for your contributions, gentlemen. Manga Benashus, one last word, if you...
Just to plead on Cameroonians that we should remember that this issue about passports, it gives us our identity. That's what makes us Cameroonians. If we give value to these passports, the way we will fabricate it, that's how the world will look at it. Because they should not look at 237 passports different from the way they look at the US passports. They should also value it, because once you hold a US passport anywhere in the world, you are given all the respect. They should also respect Cameroonian passport as such. If we in Cameroon, if we value it,
Thank you very much, Manga Benashus. And Mark Jr., one last word before we go.
Yes, my message is for the government. So if you're listening, train your youths. It's going to help you in future, because very soon you grow old, you're going to need a lot of assistance, and if your youths are not well trained and empowered, how do you expect to help yourself? So train your youth. Forget about signing deals, bringing on foreigners to come do things for us. There are a lot of Cameroonians out there in the diaspora that are educated, that have achieved a lot of angles. Get them back, train them, put them in position and empower them. And the country is going to be better.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure having you today.
Thank you very much for
Manga Benashus, hope to see you tomorrow.
I will be there.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you also for watching. Do not forget that we are here because you are there. See you tomorrow, God willing. Stay tuned to DBS Television for programs continue. Goodbye.